right, Grand Rising, welcome, good day. You are tuned in to the Peak Wellness Hour. I'm not sure why I chose that image. I was in a rush and I could have chosen some different images, thinking about some things in the conversation we're going to have. I was thinking more of teenage pregnancy versus teenage parenting and parenthood as a whole, is why I say that. But nonetheless, you are tuned into the Peak Wellness Hour, and we're going to be discussing how teen pregnancy and teen parenting rates in the United States have declined dramatically over the last 3 decades, while fewer teenagers are becoming pregnant, which is an interesting fact, and giving birth than in the past. Parenting continues to affect thousands of families every year and even remains associated with educational, financial, and health challenges. So we're going to talk about it here today. This hour, you all stay tuned, hit that like button, go ahead and share with somebody, bring somebody into the conversation. You have no idea who it may bless. So let's do that. See you soon. All right, welcome everyone. We got Queen Kathy B with the United Empires of Keeperline in the house. Grand Rising Queen feels good lying in bed. I did not want to get out of my bed today. I did not want to do it, but I'm so glad that we did and that we are here with you all. So I bet that sounds lovely. Listening to nature. What are you looking at? Are you just looking at all your beautiful gardening and whatnot out there? Let us know what you got going on
Hey,
out there.
Queen Coffee, how are you doing?
Yes, yes, yes. So Queen Kathy's on the West Coast, so I'm interested to see what kind of weather she's got going on over there. But nevertheless, you are tuned into the Peak Wellness Hour. We're going to dive right into this conversation. Um, we've been doing the parent honoring mothers and women this month. So Queen Edith thought it would be a great idea, and it is, to end the month off in May talking about parenthood, motherhood, and parenting. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Queen Edith take it away. Queen.
Hello, family. Today is the last Saturday for the month of May. And shout out to my baby sister. Yesterday was her birthday. I'm not going to tell you her age, but you do the math. And I'm not giving you any details. But anyway, happy birthday, sis. God bless you so much. You made me a big sister because at this point of your birth, prior to you being born, I was a little sister. Now I am a big sister. There she is. I bless God for your life and for your ministry. I don't know why I thought that Queen Kathy was in Georgia, but yeah. God bless you all. It's the last Saturday of a beautiful month, the month of grace. And while celebrating women and mothers, I don't know, and maybe this is personal to me, but when I think of mothers, I never really consider that there are some mothers who, for one reason or the other, their life could possibly be taken away from them while they are giving life to someone. There's a mother who is just thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't go back to school. My friends will laugh at me. What am I going to do? How am I going to take care of this child? They're looking at their newborn baby with joy, but also with a lot of anxiety. It's a conversation that we don't hear a lot. Our young women, our teenagers who end up becoming pregnant. And I think that they make a very important part of motherhood. How do they navigate this new dynamic of their lives, and how do we, as their families, support them without judgment, guide them, and help them to while taking care of their children, of their newborn, and getting help, they getting healthy, getting into the right mental health, without the support, and us supporting them to ensure that they don't get stuck where they are. Because I think it can be scary where you don't have a source of income, really, a real source of income. You don't have support. You don't have skills, real skills. And so I thought that'll be a great topic to bring about and to talk. Because they are mothers. We celebrate the fact that they are mothers. But we also worry as parents, what are we doing with this? Raising children with children. Queen, you have some statistics in there, so let's talk about that.
Sure we can. First, I want to tell you, sometimes when we think about motherhood, I think that I believe the conversation is so important because when we're thinking about motherhood, and that's why I guess I put the picture up of the pregnant image versus parenting image, because a lot of times it's not a thought beyond the pregnancy. Like you said, you're pregnant, you have this fear, this unknowing, these lack of resources, lack of support, whatever the situation may be. And in the moment, you can't get past this belly. You can't get past the fact that there is life growing in you. And so to not be in a position, especially um, as adolescents, where we're not mentally developed like we need to be. I don't think anybody is really mentally developed for parenting anymore. As adults, you're not ready. We're just not ready, But um, offsetting the thought process of, you know, education, and not just whether do I stay in school, do I drop out of school, beyond that, what is college? If I was looking at college, what does that look like now for me? What does my income look like now for me? Because before this, I had plans to finish high school, go to college, had this career, set up family, get married, those kind of things. That was the perspective, that someone may be thinking. But now me wanting to be this lawyer or this, whatever, now I'm not going to school. Finances, responsibilities are still coming. Where am I working? How am I supporting myself? How am I supporting a family? You know, those things are not typically, I believe that they're not considered in the moment as far as preparation into parenting beyond the pregnancy. So that's something that we do when we are in those situations and we have parents and grandparents that are raising children that are not their own, right? When we're in these situations, are we talking to the adolescent, not just raising this child for this child, but are we talking to this adolescent about next steps and the reality of steps? When support's not there, what does that look like? You know, housing, just different things like that, living healthy, actually taking care of another human being, So those are conversations that are going to be so important to have when we're in these situations. And I do know I was a teenage mother. It's been a strive. So yeah, I do speak from experience with that. So I'll say that, Queen.
Can I ask you a question? May I?
You may.
You said you were a teenage mother. What was the, I don't know, you may or may not remember, but to the best of your knowledge, what was the thing that you feared most when you found out you were pregnant?
My grandmother.
Okay, okay.
That was the first and foremost thought in my head for a very long time throughout that, because it wasn't something that I came out and shared immediately. It was something that was hidden until it I couldn't anymore, you know. So it was my grandmother, and I tell you why. I tell you why. Because in that moment, my expect my expectations lied within her. So that looked like, it didn't look like failure. It didn't look like inadequacy. It looked like wrong, you know, and it wasn't a shameful, it was, especially growing up in church, you know, and the kind of concept where, you know, it's, you know, however you want to take scripture, you know, I'll say that, because sometimes we apply things, and when we apply things in a biblical standpoint, it can tend to be, oh, I'm sorry, it can, what did I do?
It's not you, it's me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, you're fine. It can tend to be scary when we're understanding how to walk this thing, you know. So, you know, it's better to marry than burn in hell. And however, you know, I'm saying it how I know it and understand it. So it may mean something totally different, but having those kind of words, the weight of those words, you know, and not wanting to be in this hellbound position. And my grandmother represented to me holiness and righteousness and correction and love. So yeah, for me that was in those first few months were honestly the scariest part of it. Absolutely. And ironically, in the aftermath, she was there for me. She supported me. I wound up living with her for some time after I had my son, and even going back to school, you know, I wasn't going back to school because I was embarrassed. I had every opportunity to go back to school. My grandmother was there to help me, and you know how we can get as when we're adolescents and we think we know something, and we think we're all grown up, and don't give you a baby, and now you're really grown up, but you're not. Um, Me not wanting to help have, you know, embrace that support and follow through with that support that I had, I made a decision, you know, and it made it more difficult for me to maneuver in life. Um, I was working since I was 14, so working wasn't the issue, you know. But again, housing. Now I'm working to pay a little cell phone bill with AT&T, or what was it? Motorola. What was the first one that came out? It was one old school, you know, Indiana Bell. I don't remember what it was, but you know, cellular one, something like that. You know, working to pay this little phone bill and, you know, buy, you know, clothes for school, you know, and not because I didn't have those resources, because I like to buy clothes for school, you know. I like to do little things, you know, as a 14-year-old, you know. And of course I was older when I had my son, but you know, that's why I was working. So I was not unfamiliar with working for what I wanted, but it changed what I was working for. It changed how my resources looked. It changed how my, I don't, can you call them assets? No, when you don't have nothing. Is it assets? But I think it's different for everyone. And that's why we want to have this discussion, because for me, I'm very blessed and fortunate because I had the wherewithal, you know, the support, but I had the wherewithal to know that I don't like being homeless. I'll tell you right now, been there, done that. I don't like being homeless. I don't like being in the dark. I don't like it when it's too hot or too cold, and I can't change my mind about that. I don't like not being able to get up and go where I need to go and not take a bus and two transfers to drop my son off to daycare and do it again to get to work somewhere. I don't like those things. And because I understood that at a young age, and I understood that now I've made a decision, and this is the results of the choices I made, then I don't get to not want to or not have to, you know. And I'm so grateful. And part of this is, most of it is, I can accredit to my husband, my king. I was always going to go to nursing school, and us having a joint marriage, um, I was able to go to nursing school. And I say that to say that all because you fall short in a situation because of a circumstance with parenting and pregnancy doesn't mean that you still don't have options. I was going anyways, period, point blank. That took me longer than I thought to get my degree, but I was going anyways. I was just blessed and fortunate enough to have my king support and help, you know. Um, but you have to, when you're there. Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard out here, you know. So when you look beyond again the pregnancy part and see what's really happening with life and taking care of life, it's a lot. And so again, the conversation needs to be had. Um, yeah, it needs to be had. And we don't want to have it with families. You know, we have family members that are, that continue to get pregnant, families that are adopting children in the family, abortion after abortion after abortion. I'm not judging anybody with you that. But I'm saying when we start this cycle, especially in youth, it's hard for a lot of people to get out of that cycle. And now we're producing all these children, and you're expecting someone else to be accountable for your irresponsibility. And it's unfortunate that it happens with teenage pregnancy. It's unfortunate when it happens when you're an adult and you're not ready. So we have to be real about it and have a discussion about accountability. And even in my situation, I love all of my children. I want grandbabies. I want little babies to grow up with. I'm not going to take care of your babies. I'm not taking care of no children. If I'm taking care of your children, I don't want to see your face. There should be no reason why you dropping your kids off and I can't find you for 3 days and I got to go to work and you out in the street somewhere. I'm not taking care of nobody's children like that. I'm not. So we have the conversations about, yes, you're an adult. Yes, you can do what you want to do. And we don't have any grandbabies. We have one out of all these children, one. And she's 16. God bless her. She's so lovely. She'll be here for the summer. I'm so excited. But even with that, when there's a lack of responsibility in parenting, don't really want to look at you right now, and I'll leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. Queen.
Thank you very much for sharing that part. Your greatest fear was your grandmother because of what she represented in terms of her Christian or religious beliefs, where she stands. And I want to say this because that has been playing in my head whilst you were speaking. I want to say this, there may be more teenage pregnancies that we might know, because many of us, I use us because we're talking about women in general, many of us, and including me, committed abortions because of fear. Okay, committed abortions because we feared being judged by the church, the role you were playing at the church. You were going to church all your childhood, people thought you were a good girl, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then you find yourself in the situation. Okay, so some people will run away and have an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that the abortion itself is is deadly, but it can be deadly at a young age where your womb, we miss you too, where
Yes.
your womb is not developed, where you are not developed as a person, and having to live with that thoughts of having had that kind of abortion, maybe some people had one, some people had two, some people had three, and knowing what some of the things that I have known as an adult, how you deal with mentally is huge. So for every teenage girl, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but for every teenage girl who risked shame or feeling shamed or feeling judged or risked losing your lifelong dreams, because at that time you couldn't think beyond that. Even with the men who impregnate these girls, the young boys, the teenage boys as well, the thing you go through, the things you had to deal with, and still go ahead and have that child. I applaud you, I respect you, and I honor you. As much as we wish it didn't happen, two mistakes never make a right. Okay, so I applaud you, and I admire you a lot, because some of us just would not face my mom. Okay, growing up as a teenage girl, some of us I had my first menstrual cycle at the age of 9. Okay, let me repeat it, at the age of 9. Okay, and I know it scared everything out of my mother. My mother was scared. I look back and that's what I see. She was so scared. And the only thing she could tell me, and this is a grown woman, okay, this is a grown woman who is married with children, and she was so scared that I could be pregnant. I was her first daughter, okay, and her only advice, the only thing out of fear that my mother told me was, if you play with boys, you will die. Okay, my dad was sitting, I remember my dad was sitting right there, he didn't say a word. If you play with boys, you will die. Okay. And every month she has this huge calendar in the house, and every month she was marking my cycle. So if it goes beyond 2 or 3 days, oh, what happened? Have you done this month? Why haven't you done it? She'll be on you like you've done something wrong. At the time, I didn't even know what sex was at the time. Okay. So that fear that she puts in me, okay, that fear that she put in me went a long way. I mean, I don't know whether it was healthy. I don't think it was healthy, but as a mother, I could imagine what she had to deal with. Her 9-year-old sweet innocent little girl, okay, and knowing that there are predators all around us. Okay, so I can't imagine what goes on in the mind of this teenage girl, because the mind psychologically is said to develop, come to full maturity
Mm-hmm.
by the age, between the ages of 25 and 26. So this is a child, okay, she doesn't know anything. Maybe I'm wrong. This generation is different. But to me, it will be a scary thing. So to not be scared of your mother, but scared of your grandma, she was the matriarch. She got the family. But what I love about what you just said is, in spite of who she was, she showed that she was a woman of God, because she reached out to you in love and came in and held you and bore you up and supported you in those needful times. Because what kind of a woman, what kind of a Christian would she be if she kicked you out? to and shamed you. So I thank God for all the parents who come up and support these teenage mothers. Okay, let's go to the next thing. The fear of, okay, let me share this too. So I had a few classmates. Of course, we all have classmates, right? And I remember going to secondary school, Form 1, which is first year in high school, however it's called in America. Form 1, I remember this girl. Her first name was Elizabeth. Her last name is, I won't say her full last name, but it was O-D. So it was a compound name. The boys in the class, or some people in the class, noticed she was pregnant. And we have a slogan, Yefumpi Banchide Jim, like teasing her, and the boys will whistle in the classroom. So throughout my Form 1 to Form 5 high school, the 5 years of high school, I think I had 3 or 4 classmates who got pregnant. And these boys were teasing them. And these girls were bold enough to come to school until I guess the school said we can't have them in here because they're becoming a distraction to the others. It was not the internet days where you could say they can do e-learning. Okay. Some of them, I don't know what happened. One of them, she went to school with me all throughout. Every school I went, she was there. So she was able to come back to school because she got the support of family and friends. The others, I don't know where 2 of them are. But I'm saying this to say, even in school, how we tease these young ladies, and the men don't get to experience that. Okay, that again is another thing that is very impactful. And if care is not taken, could impact them for the rest and could impact them in a crippling way. Okay, that could affect them for the rest of their lives if nobody comes in to support them. Okay, I wish individuals who became pregnant at average about 11.9 years of education. Wow. So these are some of the things I have written down. Okay. Whilst her peers are worrying about prom and graduation and different things, social media, they have to worry about doctor's appointments, right? They have to worry about whatever little money they have, whether to buy diapers, buy food for the babies, or for even they don't have the option of even thinking about themselves. Okay, so diapers or clothing or medication. Okay, and I know that in the US there's a great social support system that could come in and help these young ones. But where I come from, that does not exist. And as a teenager, you don't even have the opportunity to work. You didn't at the time. So it's solely dependent on you and figuring it out however you want it, which could put this young teenage girl in the arms of other men. Because if another man will do whatever they will do to you to give you money, then they are in that position. They're predisposed to more pain because they'll do what they need to do to feed their children. That's where prostitution and all these things start to come up. I'm speaking reality here. And so yes, they have to find clothing and food and shelter. If family is not stepping up, if family is judging them, if father, mother is disowning them, okay, while their peers are thinking about their next dates, what they're going to wear, and getting excited, being children, losing the opportunity of being children themselves, while at the same time developing. Okay, children taking care of children. Okay, now, so a young mother may also experience fear about the futures. financial uncertainty, educational disruption, okay, social isolation, relationship challenges, anxiety about parenting, pressure to prove herself, and the fact that I disappointed dad and mom. Okay, okay. So suddenly, overnight, they have to grow up. They have to grow up. How do we support these children? Because the things I just named, I haven't even gone to the cost of judgment emotionally. The things I just named end these girls into, I already named prostitution, into addictions, okay, into deep depression, okay, because of the social isolation, because of the shame, because of the cost of judgment. So I'm throwing this out there. As a mother and as a father, you have a child who has a child. How do we better support them to make sure their dreams, they don't lose their dreams? Because sometimes it spirals into adulthood. Okay, when they don't get the help, it spirals into adulthood. It spirals, God forbid they deal with all these depression situations and stuff. It spirals into very serious negative things if we do not nip it in the bud. We cannot be ashamed. We have to take our child. That is love. That is God. That is love. We are not punished for one mistake for the rest of our lives. And then what happens to the child who came into the world? They come to find out that they are the reason their mother never made it to where they needed to be. That emotional thing goes from one generation to the other. It's not ending with that one girl or even the father. I'm not minimizing how it impacts the fathers, especially if they're teenagers as well. I'm not minimizing them, but because this is about women's month, the focus is on women, on the girls. Okay, how is that affecting that boy too? Okay, and so these things, we're getting a lot of people who are abusing all kinds of substances because they can't handle the pain they're dealing with. They're going into the wrong places, doing the wrong things, so they will have money on the table, keep roof over their head. Okay, the basic needs of life. When you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basic things: food, shelter, clothing, those things that everybody need. Every language is everywhere. Okay, they have to do some atrocious things that normally, and then they lose self value. Okay, and then they make some mistakes with their children, and then the system takes the children away from them. You see how this is going down. You see how this is going down. Okay, and then these children get into the system, and when they if they're not adopted, or mom doesn't get her act right or stuff, and then they grow out of the system, what life are we giving them? Okay, so while we're looking at women, while we are celebrating mothers, let's look at our young mothers. It runs deep from an emotional and spiritual. I don't even want to go into the spiritual standpoint because that is another thing altogether, and I don't want to get into that. Because when we look at the consequences of this, the consequences of even sex, okay, because if you're having it at 13 years, 12 years, 11 years, and some of these childhood parents, I'm sorry to say, they were raped, they were molested sexually by adults. Then what? The kind of trauma they have to deal with, it wasn't a choice. So this conversation needs to be had. Churches. So many churches are doing well, but we need to do so much better. Yeah, sex before marriage is wrong. Children are exploring and are adventurous, and and all kinds of things. But when it happens, we don't throw them to hell. Like Queen said, she talked about it, the fear. That fear was one of those. Okay, was one of those. We don't cast them in hell. How do we support these little? I know a lot of people have food pantries, which is amazing, and I'm thankful for that. And I know, in the United States, of course, there are other social systems, but we are not. This social media is not limited to the United. I'm an African girl. I know I have family listening. I have friends listening. Queen, I'm talking too much.
Not at all. Not at all. Because um, I'm going to ask you, well, I'm not going to ask you personally, but I'd like you to comment on, we talked about, you know, all the things, like even with substance abuse. Let's talk about abusing children. Now, this is something I can't relate to as a teenage mother at 16, but there are a lot of things that are being overlooked when it comes to adolescent parents doing harm, physical harm to their children. I'm not going to ask Queen Eva to speak on personal experiences, but with her working in family and children, I'm sure she sees plenty of things with adolescents that are being abused, misused, tortured by parents. And I'm not saying that, I don't know the situations, but I do know, even with my daughter working in child protective services, I can't imagine um, what they see, going to court because someone has, there was a story, I'm not going to get graphic with it. People are doing heinous things to children. A spanking, pop on the butt's one thing, but when you're beating children because you're upset and angry because you probably shouldn't be parenting anyways, and that goes for adults too. We need to watch out for those things with these adolescents when teenagers are entrusted to take care of their children because they should, because it's their children. Make sure those children are not being abused. Like I said, I don't want to take care of nobody else's children, but we have to look out for these children. Make sure they're not being abused. Make sure we're not overlooking those things. This little kid keeps going to school in the same clothes every day. You can tell because the stains just keep building up. He's got holes in his shoes. Hair's not combed. What's happening? Okay, just
What
come to check on you. What's in you and the family? What's happening over here? You know, and people are not looking at the abuse, especially when these children are young, when they're toddlers and stuff, and you're impatient with having to take care of them. Again, this is not something I've experienced or inflicted, so but I'm telling you, it's real. I'm impatient with this kid. It's different than babysitting. Now you can beat on this one. And it gets out of control. Babies and toddlers and infants are losing their lives at the hands of their parents.
and it goes back again to, once again, people who have not taken the time to grow up. In other words, mature.
Mhm.
They may look matured physically, but emotionally, psychologically, they are not matured enough to know how to handle these challenges. Okay,
Mhm.
one of the first, I don't know whether to go there or not, but let me say this: too many children are having children. And at this point, I've even moved away from teenagers, okay? But these teenagers who had children are now in their 20s. And they had one at the age of maybe 15, 16, right? They didn't stop there, right? Okay,
Mhm.
because some way, somehow, they're looking for money some way, somehow, okay, to get there. They still want to be girls, okay? So you have this man who is giving them money somehow, and they
Mhm.
go. So you realize that if this first one is not well taken care of, and I'm not talking about the baby, I'm talking about the teenager. This
Mhm.
situation is not doesn't she doesn't get the support she needs, okay? That is a healthy support, okay? Then she gets all these wrong predators in her life, taking advantage. She goes on to have children. She's in her 20s, she's in her 30s. She's tired and frustrated. She's tired and frustrated. Okay, she has 4 children, 5 children, 3 children, everybody with a different baby daddy. Okay, the baby daddies themselves are not stepping up because this was not what they were looking for. Okay, so emotionally, they are just stressed.
Mm-hmm.
They are just stressed. So whatever it is to do to silence that child, and we're talking about even physical beating, but putting the child in front of TV, putting a tablet in
Mm-hmm.
their hands and letting them stream and watch anything and everything just so
Mm-hmm.
mommy can sleep, because that's the only time these children are quiet. It's
Mm-hmm.
some form of abuse because you are exposing them to things. Because these days, even some of the gaming things that we think they're gaming, towards children, are teaching them things they don't need to know. We are not allowing our children to be children because we have to work so much to make money, to put food on the table, to give them their basic needs, basically. So you are gone. You are gone all day. You come home, you got to cook, you got to clean, you got to do this and do that, and make sure their homework is done, and make sure they are ready for school tomorrow morning. And it's a cycle. So we are not raising children, we are going through the motions. The
Mm-hmm.
slightest thing, we already frustrated as it is. We may be dating the wrong man in our homes, doing kinds of things we don't see even with our children.
Mm-hmm.
We are not living. And that's why this is so important, that community, we come together to help these families. Because yes, I may not be physically hitting my child, but I'm yelling at them because
Mm-hmm.
I am just frustrated. I am giving them the tablets. I'm giving them because it's pacifying them. Pacify them, so I will have my peace of mind. My mental health is not where it is supposed to be. In the meantime, I'm also in a relationship that's probably not the healthiest because of the way I'm living. I'm attracting all
Mm-hmm.
the wrong men also. Okay, so this is so important. As an uncle, I'm super protective of my nieces, and it's so important. And it's so important. And I think one of the topics we're going to talk about one of these days is having that sex talk, appropriate age appropriate sex talk as our children get to certain stages of life. Many parents are definitely not doing it, and also to address some sexual trauma to a certain extent. Okay, because we need to have these conversations, because at the end of the day it will look like, oh, it's Edith's family. Edith's teenage daughter had a child. Well, that's their problem. Eventually becomes an economic problem.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
becomes an economic problem. That is why I am passionate about the family. I believe that everything rises and falls on the man and the woman who are raising the family. What we do as a couple has a lot of repercussions, okay, in the society we live in. So you see, just this topic alone, look at how this thing has gone down and down and could go down. Okay, now the foster system, it's good, and it has its advantage and disadvantages, because ideally every child must be raised by the parents who love them. It may not be biological, but by the parents who love them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and their home where they feel like this is my mama, because their foster parent may be doing their best, but they know they've been taken away from mommy and daddy. Why mommy and daddy didn't like me? Okay, why mommy and daddy didn't like me? Where I come from, at a certain stage, you have these children. They will give your children, their children away to other families to go and serve them. You find a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old in the house of another family as a house help. Okay, because parents can't take care of them. And the promise of, if Edith came for somebody's child because I need help at home, they will do a lot of the hard work. Whilst they've all gone to school and come back, if I'm not a good mother, what I'm doing is that this child will be serving my children. But when she's done, she also has to do her schoolwork. What kind of mind? What kind of mind? She's tired. So whilst my children may be thriving academically, somebody's child, I'm giving her the education, but I'm not giving her some of the privileges I'm giving my own child. And this is real talk, for real.
And you know what? I'll say this too. When you're talking about depression, I think and I could be wrong because I'm not in all the delivery rooms, but I will say that I wonder how often postpartum depression is recognized and addressed with teenage pregnancy before it gets to a manic state of depression or whatnot. You have, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old, delivering this baby. And of course you're depressed because your situation, I'm gonna say it like that, but you know how people think, of course you're depressed. So, going by, somebody's there to take care of you, you're still a child, somebody's, and that's dismissed, I would think, when in terms of postpartum depression, especially in the Black community, where we are, this is what it is. King Sean put a comment up earlier,
Let me go
put it
and
back up here. But in the Black community where we're not having this conversation, um, and then it's a repetitive cycle, that shame. I absolutely hated that movie. I really did. And I know hate is a strong word, but I really hated that movie, Precious. I hated that movie. It made me so sick to watch. I don't even
what
know how
is
I
it
got.
about?
That's the one with Monique and oh God, I can't remember the young lady's name. Gabrielle. Somebody help me in the comment section. Gabrielle, can't remember her last name, but she was Monique played the role of an abusive mother. Her boyfriend was sleeping with the daughter and kept getting the daughter pregnant. And she was trying to go to school, she was trying to make it work, and her mom just dogged her, called her all kinds of horrors, just horrible to her. And I hated that movie because I felt like that is so extreme. Like, who tells it, you fat black, da 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 da, you'll never be nothing? And this man is impregnating your daughter time and time again. I hated the movie until Monique did an interview about it. And she talked about how people dogged her about playing such a harsh role. And I had to go back and think about it because that is somebody's real life. As sick and horrifying as it is to watch such a thing on TV, that is someone's real life where somebody is going home to abuse. You have adolescents going home to abuse. Like you said earlier, getting pregnant within the home by adults in the home and whatnot. And now you're the whore. You got to go. You're the shame. And we keep these crazy men around, and the crazy is not even the word I want to use, these disgusting sexual deviants around, and we discard our children.
Do you
I'm stop.
see do you see where our priorities are misplaced, as even children who became parents too early and trying to be in a relationship where we are not valued, and but the relationship is so important that we'll devalue ourselves and our children. Queen, that is very common.
Mm-hmm.
It is more common that than we know than is being told. So I've never seen that movie, but yeah, I can believe that this movie is coming out of somebody's reality. It
Mhm.
is happening.
Mhm.
Men, boys are watching their mother's boyfriend abuse the mothers. The boy
Mhm.
says something and the boy is kicked out of the house. It's
Mhm.
happening to both sexes.
Mhm.
What is wrong with the mother? Who is she? Does she see her value as a person? Or
Mhm.
her only value is in the man who is paying the bills?
Mhm.
Because she is not working. She has no money. She
Mhm.
has a man,
Mhm.
which is everything to her. You get it? This is more common.
Mhm.
Listen, I hate it. This is, I don't know, sometimes I don't know where to say what, but some women are actually allowing their children to be molested sexually by their own boyfriend. They are
Mhm.
allowed, they are literally pimping out their
Mhm.
children for drugs,
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
substances.
Mhm.
Okay. And so yesterday I posted a video on my wall, and this woman, she was speaking three different Ghanaian languages and English. And when I listened to it, I was angry. Okay, so the question you ask is, who are the real adults? We can't
Mhm.
even begin to assume that a woman looking like me is an adult in
Mhm.
all facets of
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
Okay, and society is quiet because
Mhm.
I'm minding my business.
Mhm.
But what is your business if it's affecting us economically? It's affecting the church. It's affecting um, 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 everything. Our community, our children are growing. These days, children are being trafficked in a different kinds of way. And who are using these children? Isn't it our adults?
Mhm.
Isn't it our adults taking advantage of these children?
Mhm.
If, as a mother, I will do it to my own child.
Mhm.
Okay, so I see how you were triggered by that movie, but my oh my, I know and I know and I know and I it is real, it is true, and it is happening. There's so many things that in my little experience I can't talk about, but I will tell you this. It is time women begin to invest in themselves. It is time that if you know a teenage girl, she is in your church, she is around you, she lives in your community, begin to, when we meet children, play with them and have conversations. A couple of weeks ago, I was walking down the street where I live and I saw these little girls playing. They were playing with a ball, and I went to take the ball and we were playing. I started having little conversations with them and letting them see that their value is not in their boobs, it's not in their backs, it's not in their lips, it's not in their bellies. Their value is right here. If they can develop this, they can develop their emotional health, their mind. They are okay. It doesn't matter whether boys like them. This time, look at social media. Look at social media. Look at all the women. Look at the things that are being sold. Okay, look at the things that are being sold. We are selling what? Surgeries upon surgeries to shape your body, to look young, to do this. To where is our value? Everything else does not matter. Everything else does not matter. And we are placing so much value on the outside, on the physical attraction, and there's nothing wrong with it. But the inside must also be developed and valued. It has to go hand in hand. It once you can do one side and leave the other. The great thing, when the inside is done, it will show out on the outside. So the focus should be on the inside. You can do whatever you want on the outside, but you must develop your insides, your emotional, psychological maturity. And when these girls become pregnant, first of all, what led them to the place of getting pregnant at the first time? Maybe for children, it's experimental. But after that, what is going on with them? That is not being addressed. And they're taking this and getting older, and they are impacting the children after them, and the children, and the children. When I came to America, one of the first things that shocked me, I'm not going to lie, this woman, I was working somewhere, and this woman said she was a grandmother. So out of conversation, I asked the age, and she was 30 something years. She was my age. And I'm like, yeah, a grandmother in your 30s. Wow. It shocked me. It really shocked me. And I took the bus. I lived in Alexandria. I'll take the bus. And I went in DC. I'll take the bus to Huntington and take the train from Huntington to Washington, DC. And I remember all these teenage mothers. And they are tired already, taking the child to daycare and then continue to go to work. They were already tired, sitting in the bus, sleeping. Who is looking after these teenage children? Shaming, judging, and all of those things are not good teachers. They are not good teachers. And society, we need to look at this. What can Peak Wellness Hour do? How do we gather our young women? How do we mentor them? What can you do as an individual? What can you do as a pastor in the CEM Indiana? How are you mentoring your young girls and young men? How are you mentoring them?
That part, King. That part. That part. Have you seen the TikTok, videos where you got the grandma, the mother, and the daughter, and they're all between 15 and 35? Like, the daughter's 15, the mom 25, the
And
grandma
please,
35,
I don't
and
mean to
everybody's cool with it.
I don't mean to cut you, but right now it's become a status thing where girls will have children with all kinds of men just to get child support and get money from the state.
What
I'm
kind of
telling you,
marriage is
in
and
the
what state is
industry
this?
I'm working, not even the therapy thing, in home care,
Mhm.
a lot of the people who come to work, they don't want to work past a certain number of hours because the state, the government is taking care of them. They don't want to work anymore. So, what are the incentives to become something, everything you were made to be? What is the incentive now?
You know, yeah,
She said she
yeah.
was 25 and a grandma and proud of it. I was blown away. Yeah.
I need my fingers to do the math, and that's crazy. Um, and that's the issue. Nobody's guaranteed to help you take care of your children. Okay. So if you're getting knocked up, I don't care if it's by a bum or a basketball player, and expecting somebody to help you pay child support or whatnot, you got another thing coming. There are entertainers that are making plenty of money. They don't take care of their children. So if you think some of these don't care about you bums out here are about to help you take care of your children, for sure, for sure. And I promise you that your income tax, income correct,
Threshold.
tax, yeah, your refund, that is,
Oh,
it's not even adding up. It doesn't add up. You get $2,000 to $5,000 back. Well, that's spent in daycare. How much are diapers now? I was looking that up earlier. Y'all see me moving around and doing stuff because I'm looking and doing some research, and I was looking at the cost of diapers. I'm curious how much diapers are and how much formula is. I remember buying formula. Formula is like $20 a can. That's ridiculous. And I know it's more than that now, to feed your children. Let's talk about, yeah, to feed your children. How much are diapers now? They're necessities. You could buy some raggedy clothes for your children from Temu. I'm not judging because I did order some shirts off of Temu. that I need to, I'm waiting for. But I'm just saying, you could buy clothes for, all kinds of baby clothes at Temu, at Shein or whatever, but you're not getting away with them diapers. You're not getting away with that formula cost. You're not getting away with that. You're not getting away with that daycare, you know. So don't be counting, don't count your coins when it comes to raising children, because the math is not mathing, and if you think that somebody's going to take care of you, you better watch who you're allowing to take care of you. Please
Yeah.
watch who you're letting them take care of you. And I'm not judging anybody. This is no judgment at all. Um, but please be careful, women, when you have multiple children and you have these men that want to step in and help you take care of your children. You should
And
ask
Queen,
why.
you are right.
Not ask why, but be cautious about that. When you're not working, you don't got a pot to piss in. I'm not judging anybody. You have multiple children's fathers. You better be careful who's jumping in to try to take care of your children, what their motives are. When I had my son at 16, like that hanging out, nobody's around my son. You're not coming nowhere near my son. I don't care if we're dating or not. You're not coming nowhere near my son. Period, point blank. Because there's no reason. This in and out thing, we're not doing none of that. She said, "What is formula?"
Oh, Queen Kathy, we will not
What's
go
in
in
formula?
there.
I don't
We
know.
will not go there because it's oh my God, the things we need to talk about. But Queen, you see, talking about being cautious and all, and we need to. But the thing is that the mind is not even matured enough to begin to think that. The focus is on survival. Okay, the focus is so much on survival that and not even long-term survival right here, right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
What I need right now to keep the lights on, to keep food on the table, to make sure that the heat is there in this cold weather. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the survival is, they don't have the mental
Mm-hmm.
capacity to think beyond. So right here, right now, right here, right now, right here, right now. So unfortunately, they don't have it to think that far.
Mm-hmm.
Women are sleeping with men in front of their babies. And when the baby comes to the room, they say, "Go out, go out, go out." And the man doesn't care. And she's just making a little money. You gotta eat. Where do you think your food is coming from? Who do you think pays the rent here? How do you think you get to go this way? Unfortunately, that is the reality. So as we celebrate Women's Month, I know this is the last day of the month, but this conversation is not ending. We are starting. You're going to hold it in your homes. You're going to start educating. I know that these teenagers, they probably know more. They think they know more about sex, but life doesn't start and end with sex. Figuratively speaking, we need to begin to educate them. They are never too young to start those education. And there is a book that I didn't think about, but I will probably get it and post it there, that teaches you how to talk to your children and those who have already experienced sex and probably maybe sexual trauma, for them to get help. That's one area I want to go in: sexual sex addiction, human sexuality. I want to go in so bad, but how we can talk to these girls and how we make sure that this situation doesn't have that negative ripple effect. But right here, we stop it. We deal with it, whether as individual women, as mothers, as as mothers to friends of our children, and we're not limiting it to the women, to the girls only. Boys are having their fair share. The way the world is, boys are having their fair share of sexual trauma as well. These conversations. So yes, age appropriate exposure in terms of education is so important in this era, because nobody who has no sense at 13, 14, 12, 11, they don't have a mind really. They are not developed. They are not in any way matured to make sensible decisions. They are not. I don't care how they look like. I don't care how they talk. I don't care how they present themselves like, but sure, they are not. The brain is not ready. Let
That's
me
all I got.
acknowledge Efiatha. I see you. Please, when you come, comment so we know you are on there. We appreciate your comments. I know you all have a lot to say. So, my dear Efiatha, Bishop Michael, my dear sister Josephine, Veronica, you better stop watching and start commenting as quickly as possible. Vita, Vala. Yes, I see all of you, Mrs. Blankson, Reverend Mrs. Blankson. Happy belated birthday. I saw your celebration. Yes, please comment. We want to see your comments. They matter. We need your
Can you
comments.
see them on your end, Queen?
I'm seeing them on my
So
end. Yeah.
everybody, I know we have right now. We have 7 platforms we're streaming on right now, between the Peak, Queen Edith, and myself. If everybody
And then
can
YouTube.
start
So
going to
comment.
YouTube, if everybody can start going to the Peak Wellness Hour on YouTube, so we can get everybody's comments up, that would be super awesome.
Peak,
Um,
Peak
you can
Wellness Hour YouTube, please. Peak Wellness Hour YouTube. Please go onto YouTube, look for Peak Wellness Hour. We need these comments. We need these conversations. Our homes are being affected. Maybe you were never a teenage mother or a teenage father, but what about your children? In this era we are living in, where sex is become everything. You see a car advertisement and a naked woman is standing by it, like, it makes no sense.
mm-hmm,
Sex is being it's put on a pedestal,
mm-hmm.
and we're selling seriously sexual immorality. We have no understanding of the implications of sex. Our children are engaging in it thinking it's okay because they haven't seen anything better.
Mm-hmm.
No matter the number of churches that are here, we are not speaking the reality of it as we should.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we are hiding our message in messages. We are afraid to speak these things out to help break it down for our children to understand. It is a way of protecting them. Sometimes neglect of education, neglecting to educate them, neglecting to talk about them itself is abuse indirectly, because we are exposing them. We are allowing the world to teach them when we could teach them at home. We can. And God forbid it happens. Then we begin to shame them. Please, the more you shame them, the more you destroy, what do you call it? Their confidence in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if it happens, let's come around them and love them and teach them and educate them and support them and teach them how to take care of themselves and take care of their child as well. You don't take that from them. You guide them, you teach them, you show them, you help them, you support them as much as we need. This is real. This, as much as we deal with sex everywhere, it's on our videos, everything, even cartoons. We're exposing it to them. Then let's talk real with them. And let's have these conversations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really quickly, not to interrupt you, you all, King Sean, before you go, if you want to drop your information in, King Sean's got a podcast. So if you want to drop your information in the comment section so that we can pop on, if anybody has a chance to pop on and support King Sean A. White, if you want to put that information there, that'd be cool. But so yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but
Yes, look at
do
movies,
that.
music, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like Queen Kathy, cartoons. Cartoons. I think there's an issue going on with Roblox right now.
That's a weird thing. That Roblox thing is weird because everybody's been talking about how they are doing weird stuff, and I don't even know how it's allowed to still be a thing. You know, um, yeah, this is serious. This
And
is serious.
society at this point is about the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
It's marketing and the bottom line. The value of human life, the quality of the lives you're raising is no more a thing. It's the bottom line.
Have you thought about really quick? Have you thought about when we talk about the movies? And go, Queen Kathy's gonna say what the song is, but these movies, I was watching something the other day, and these movies, like where they're dating, yeah, the games, where like you have characters, but they're dating younger girls. They are portraying these are younger adolescents having intimate scenes with adults, and we watch these movies, and it's not like something rough or something aggressive. If you got a Kevin Costner kissing a whatever it is, I don't want to throw nobody's name out there like they're doing something, but it's so normalized. You have young people. I loved Aaliyah's music, but listen to the music. Age ain't nothing but a number. Now we have R. Kelly 30 years later behind bars, but everybody knew they were married, and everybody knew they were at least messing around. And this is a grown man. You have children singing about, things they have no understanding about, you know. And I find that very interesting. Look at the Jacksons, the Jackson Five. Baby, I want you back. Want you back where? Like, I want you to go clean your room, young man. Like, stop it. But this is, and a lot of the music that we have sensationalized comes from young, adolescent people that have Brandy, Monica, have no experience, and you're singing this music, and adults are pimping you out to this entertainment. I think it's very strange. All this is normalized more so than we see, and it's in our everyday lives. So it doesn't always have to be so traumatic and so dramatizing and traumatizing and all extra. It's happening all the time. No offense, but I don't know how Epstein files mattered to me. I know about on this block, there's probably about 5, 6 perverts in the neighborhood, in your neighborhood, you know? So we're wanting to see some release files. You have situations in your own backyard that we're ignoring. So let's just stay focused on what's important. Building generations starts here, starts with having this conversation. This is how you build generation. This is how you correct, you know, family history. We want to talk about generational curses. They're not always, it's ill-mannered people raising ill-mannered people sometimes. And there's no shame on that. We want to call it a curse because it's somebody else's fault. It's this woe is me thing. No, if I'm pregnant at 16 and I have a bum boyfriend or baby's daddy, I hate that term. He don't work, I don't work, getting over the system. He's always in the street. What do you think my son's going to do? What do you think my daughter's going to do? You think it's cool for dad to be in the street? Dad ain't got to work. Dad's got nice cars. Dad's got jewelry. Dad's got nice tennis shoes. But you don't know how to read. You can shoot a gun, but you can't pass a test. And it goes on and on. It's a perpetual cycle because dad's so cool. What makes dad cool? Because you're dad. Your mom don't never come home, always in the streets. She working hard. I don't know. I ain't judging. But this is now, here it is. I'm gonna be like my dad. My dad didn't have to work. He got what he want. Your dad ain't got no retirement plan. Ain't got no checking account. ain't paid into Social Security. That ain't gonna work out for dad. But this is what we're doing. These are not curses. These are continuing poor judgment and poor cycles in judgment. So let's just keep it real and have the conversations. They are not fun. They're not. But it's not fun when we look up and The next generation of lead looks like this right now.
It is really, you can see that I'm very passionate about it because once again, it's all starts with parenting. I'm not blaming any parent. I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
let's look at it. And from everything you're saying, it sounds like you were a little laughing. It sounds like it's a joke, but it's not.
It's not.
You it's serious, and you know that. And a lot of these men end up in jail. So who is raising
Mm-hmm.
their children? Okay, who
Mm-hmm.
is raising their children? And children tend to repeat what the parents are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so like you said, it's almost like the curse in the family. Nobody has taken, and now we are in a microwave age where nobody wants to do the hard work. The
Mm-hmm.
food is already cooked, just warm it and eat it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the life we are living. We want the easy way out. And easy comes and easy goes. There
Mm-hmm.
is nothing that is worth having that is not worth working for. But if I have to choose the easy way and live on the system, and I can live on the system, and I can have babies and have child support money, and then that's the easy way, because for me it's easier to put my back down.
Mm-hmm. And now look
Okay.
at now you got look at our children. Now they're overweight. Now they're unhealthy. The eating out thing. Just popping stuff in the microwave. You don't know how to cook now. So now you grow up not know how to cook. Women can't cook for their men can't cook. Because you don't. Those are not simple things. You popping
It,
food in the oven. That is a big deal. It's a repercussion. Your laziness is a repercussion. There's a repercussion for that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, 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 no. We're having a conversation. Let's have it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
have it. And I love it. I love this back and forth because this is where we are. And how would we not have? Because right now, what we are teaching our girls is look pretty. And you look pretty enough, and a man wants you. You may not have to work another day, right? You don't need to push and push and push. Look at you. I applaud you. Teenage mother. You said something. You said being there, done that, being homeless, and I don't want to be there anymore. I don't want to not have electricity. I don't want to not have the heat on. I don't want to not have. You don't want to, and you push through it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't stop you.
Mm-hmm.
You pushed through it, and look at where you are, touching lives.
But again, you all, it takes support, and thank you so much. But it takes
It took
that's what you are. Yeah,
support,
but it
but
takes
you
it
said
takes.
something. Queen,
Mm-hmm.
you said you were always going to be honest. You see where the
Mm-hmm.
determination and the mindset was. You said, I was always. So either way,
Mm-hmm.
somehow you were going to find a
Mm-hmm.
way. And you did.
Yep.
I'm not saying that those who have not yet, but
Mm-hmm.
you can come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It takes support. It doesn't have to be your mama. It doesn't have to be your dada. It doesn't have to be. There's if you have them. That's why I said the mental capacity
Mm-hmm.
has to be there. Because if you live in survival mode,
Mm-hmm.
many of us have gotten into all kinds of troubles because it's been survival mode. And so we are able to whip ourselves out of that mode and begin to live intentionally and strategically. We are stuck. And we don't want you to be stuck because that survival mode is not going to end well. It's not going to end well. We have to, at some point, get out of it.
Good conversation. Look at y'all. Y'all stuck with us. We are 20 minutes over.
Oh my, I didn't even look at the time, Messi. We are so sorry.
Look at y'all. Yeah, you're stuck with us. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I'm gonna put this in the comment section. We're not ready to get out of here, but I'm gonna put this in the comment section for you all. It's a video, and I watched this is short. I was gonna share it with you all, but you all can look at it on your own. It's talking about Nestle, and I'll end with this, and I'm gonna let Queen take us out. But Nestle, I'm gonna put this video here. Nestle some years ago got in trouble because of the formula thing. So Queen Kathy was asking and King Sean was asking about the formula. They got in trouble some years ago about that when they had the Nestle baby formula, right? So you all check out that link. They were trying to discourage women from breastfeeding. And it was a whole big deal. So, and they wound up doing harm over in Africa somewhere, and was poisoning people. So, y'all check that out. It was very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. But no,
It's
just go ahead.
it's funny. My mother made sure I breastfed my child for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
1 year.
Yes, please
One
do
solid year, yo.
that.
Thank you, Queen
But
Cat.
then you have to eat healthy too, though. That's
Oh,
the
I
crazy
ate.
thing
You should have
because
seen my cheeks. I ate. I was fed. I was fed all right. I breastfed for 1 year.
yeah,
And now when it was time to wean Jake, Jake is like, oh hell no. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And
that
so my
is
mother
funny.
had to take him away from. He stayed with my mother for about a month. Well, the moment he saw me, he still wanted it. So I had to put some bitterness around, and he didn't like the bitterness. But let's not even go.
That is
Another
funny.
conversation for another day. But yeah.
That is so funny. I tried it. You know what? And that's why I said, and here's a tidbit for you young parents. Even those that don't know, new parents, you do have to watch what you put in your body when you're breastfeeding, and you do have to change your diet. It's a whole lifestyle change. You don't think about that. And I remember I was sick. My son was I was still breastfeeding because I think my babies were big. My oldest was 9'7". My youngest was 8'5". I have some big babies, and that breastfeeding thing was a go for so long. You can't see how I'm built, but this ain't that over here. But I remember I got sick. I had bronchitis or something like that, and they gave me cough syrup to take, and I could smell it when I was breastfeeding my son. I could smell it on his breath. I could smell the
Oh
codeine.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Goes through
yeah,
the bloodstream. Yeah.
yeah. So y'all make sure you be careful what you ingest. And then it's funny, but we talk about not using drugs and alcohol and things like that when you're breastfeeding, but like even eating unhealthy processed foods, you know, and you're breastfeeding. That's a big deal. So there's a lot to talk about with teenage pregnancy, with adolescent pregnancy, that we just touched the surface on it. And again, now we're almost an hour and a half in. We just touched the surface of this. So there's so many conversations that we can be having with our youth. And like Queen said, we've been focusing on Women's Month, but there's so much to be said about teenage fathers as well. That's so important. Yeah, we may need a part two, Queen Kathy. Maybe you should come on here with us next week and do a part two, and we can talk about the teenage boys. D Mays would be a good one. Also, you all check out Mind Games Uncut for some truth. D Mays might be a good one to have up here. We do love our male voices, our sound.
We do, and we need to have more occasion. It's been too long.
It has. So we love the unity here. We love the sound-minded conversations and the feedback. It means a lot to us. These conversations mean a lot to us. As you can see, most of the things we talk about are important because they're personal. We've gone through things, things that we've not gone through. Like last week, you all check out the menopause conversation. Even the men, check it out. I'm stepping into that. You had 3 different women on this platform last week with 3 different stages in this thing. So we bring things to the table. And shout out to Queen Kathy B the week before, because she's filled in as a co-host when Queen Edith was away. So that was a great conversation. So everything we discuss, we do try, and I know I kind of joke about things because life is hard and life is heavy, and sometimes you'll get a chuckle out of me because I get to tearing up sometimes, because life be hard, and it's sad. It's emotional when it is someone else, even. It doesn't have to be you for it to pull on your heartstrings, and some of these conversations is hard because everybody doesn't get to sit in a place where we're at right now, as overcomers, as people that have survived, that are surviving, that are thriving. So it is an honor to be in this place. It is a privilege, and we don't take it lightly. We never try to discuss things that we have no clue on, and you'll see me getting chat GPT real quick, and we get to fact check that. So just having conversations and just being real. We're not physicians, we're not giving medical advice. You do have a therapist here, marriage family therapist, pastoral counselor here. So there you go, that you can dabble in with her and connect with her if you have that need. So there is a space for that. So don't forget that. But I'll let you take us out, Queen. I gotta feed my king. He's patiently waiting. So
Okay,
how you
King.
going? So Queen.
I can't believe we've gone almost 1.5 hours. I can't believe it. It tells you how passionate, how important this conversation, and how
Mhm.
there's so much to talk about. And talking about breastfeeding and formula. Yesterday I saw a video where women's breast milk was being expressed, and they were saying that be careful the formula you're even buying, because some of them are human. I don't know why, as humans who use, unless there's a serious healthy reason why you
Mhm.
cannot breastfeed. Why
Mhm.
won't you breastfeed? Dogs are breastfeeding. Animals are breastfeeding. Why are you taking an animal milk to give to your child? Another conversation. I'll let Queen Kathy handle that, because she knows more about the food industry than I ever will. So let me say this. We thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. This is the beginning of almost all our conversations. It's something we want you to continue at home,
Mhm.
in your women's groups at churches, in your men's groups, in your youth groups, in your couples group, in the church as a whole, okay, at the mosque, okay, whatever your faith is, wherever you gather, wherever your community is. Let's have this conversation. It may look like you have everything. Your child may never suffer that. Your child will not go through that, but your child's friends are going through that. You never know who is influencing your children. And it's so important that we care enough. We care enough. Your daughter will marry into a home. Do you know where the boy is coming from? Your son will marry into a home. Do you know where that girl is coming from? It is
Mhm.
affecting every one of us.
Mhm.
So please don't sit on your high horse and look down on somebody else because they come from some economic hood background that you will never be part of, and never your children. You never know. Life is living cycles. So thank you for having this time. To every teenage mother who's out there, please get the help you need, and mind who you're laying with, if at all. And if you can avoid it, avoid it. Get your life together, raise this one child, and move on with life. We
You're
thank you.
worth it. You're worth it.
You're worth it. You are valuable. That mistake does not define the rest of your life. It doesn't determine the rest of your life. That one thing will not, that one weak moment should not determine the next 40 years, 50 years of your life. You are only a teenager. You are not developed. You are not grown. So be quiet and get the help you need. God bless you so much. We appreciate you. This has been Peak Wellness Hour, and we love you.
Peace, love, and blessings.